Oh, no, that doesn't even look right. Boom. All right. Well, why is everything not set up right now? There's the boom, and okay. Well, we've been live for 37 seconds, guys, but welcome to the Crypto Sherpa Show, where I read you those daily latest. Oh man, I'm already messed up at this whole beginning, man. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Well, today we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin conference happening in Asia right now. Last night we had day 2 of the conference, and we had some great speakers going on there. We had who do we have? We had three legends in there. Well, all legends. Mainly he's a legend. Adam Back, but we had Eric Trump speaking and CZ. So we had 3 great lineups speaking at the Bitcoin Asian conference this weekend, or this week that was happening. And let's just break down some of this. I have a couple of other news articles for you. And yeah, I'm just totally way thrown off already with the whole no intro or whatnot. But guys, thank you so much for being here. And thank you everyone who showed up to our Nashville Club yesterday for our Bitcoin 101 Bitcoin barbecue meetup. It was a great crowd. And did I even share that over here with everybody? Let me see. Let me go to that. I know I retweeted it. Yep, right here. So we had a fabulous meetup, at least 31 people just excited to learn about Bitcoin. So thank you everyone for showing up to our Nashville Club and attending that event. It was amazing. But let's talk about the Bitcoin conference and what just took place. Yesterday, we had cypherpunk legend Adam Back say that eventually all companies will be Bitcoin treasury companies. Nothing stopping this train. And we'll play his quick little 35-second tidbit for what he said at the conference. But if you don't know who Adam Back is, he is basically a British cryptographer and computer scientist who invented Hashcash in 1997. Hashcash, which uses a proof-of-work system, was designed to reduce email, spam, and denial-of-service attacks, and it became a foundation for the Bitcoin mining system and proof-of-work consensus mechanism. It was mentioned quite a couple times in the Bitcoin white paper, and yeah, a lot of people think Adam Back was Satoshi Nakamoto, but he denies it. But let's hear what he said at the Bitcoin conference yesterday. Let me play this for you.
Match Bitcoin or even potentially outperform Bitcoin is to buy Bitcoin and use the capital markets to try and increase the Bitcoin per share, operate their core business, take some of the profit, use that to buy Bitcoin, use some of the profit to expand their core business, their products, their services. So, from that point of view, I think eventually, probably all companies will be Bitcoin treasury companies. Eventually.
Yep, eventually, guys. So eventually all companies out there will be a Bitcoin treasury company out there. Like, there's no joke. And what even is those numbers? Let me take a look at that. I didn't have these facts up, but let's see. How many Bitcoin treasury companies do we have now? Let me take a look into that, because again, like, we get word every single day about Bitcoin treasury companies popping into the space. And here's from bitcointreasury.net. Let's take a look at this site. So again, we have Strategy as number 1. We always hear about them, Mar Holding, but we have over hundreds. These are just the top 100 Bitcoin treasury companies out there. And eventually, every single company out there is going to be a Bitcoin treasury company, says Adam Back. But yeah, so that's what he spoke on here. They had a bunch of other great topics and discussions during his panel. If you want to watch it, just go to YouTube and Bitcoin Magazine, and you can watch day 2 and day 1 right now. And then who else spoke at the conference? We had Eric Trump, Donald President Trump's son, spoke there, and he said that there is no question that Bitcoin hits $1 million. And let's hear what he has to say before we go over this article of him talking about how Eric Trump calls China a hell of a power in crypto and still stands by his $1 million Bitcoin prediction. So let's hear what he has to say. I'm sure he calls it 1 million right here.
That are buying the hell out of Bitcoin. You've got Fortune 500 companies that are buying the hell out of Bitcoin. I mean, you've got the biggest families, you've got the biggest companies on earth that believe in this digital store of value. Everybody wants Bitcoin. Everybody is buying Bitcoin. And that's an incredible thing. And that's why I've always said that I really believe in the next several years, Bitcoin hits $1 million. There's no question Bitcoin hits $1 million. And when you're in the room with certain people, and I had breakfast this morning with, a couple of the most powerful people in the region in the hospitality space, and you're literally sitting there trying to explain to them what digital currency is, you realize how early we all are to this race and how big of a benefit that is, right? I hear from people all the time, should I get into cryptocurrency? Did I miss it? Am I too late? And I literally start laughing at them. I go, we haven't even scratched the surface of what Bitcoin is going to be. We haven't even scratched the surface of what digital assets are going to be. This is the time to buy. Volatility is your friend. Buy right now. Shut your eyes. Hold it for the next 5 years.
Yes, that's right. Hold it, buy it, and like he said it right. We are still early. If you try going out there into the real world and talk to people about digital currency, they don't know what it is. Still, they're like, "What? That's still around?" Like, and if you try to tell them that Bitcoin's still above 100,000, even though we did have a little dip the other day, today actually, we're seeing a sea of red. Pite's still up though right now, which is good, but no, like he's saying, like take advantage of these opportunities because people do not know out there about cryptocurrencies, digital assets, real world assets, because everything's going on chain as we talked in yesterday's video. But like we are still early, so again, like we haven't scratched the surface, as he said. And again, guys, so if you're questioning about like wanting to get in or not, I say do it. If you're here in Sarasota, we're having a members orientation event, talk about Bitcoin and just the basics to it and everything, just like get people still aware of it. Because again, that's why we opened up these crypto clubs. We're here to spread the awareness of Bitcoin, blockchain, and just help get people onboarded to it. But no, we are still early. But let's go through his article on why he's calling China a hell of a power out there and just his story with Bitcoin and crypto. So here it is. This is coming from the block. So, Eric Trump, the second oldest son of the U.S. President Donald Trump, praised the impact of Hong Kong and China on cryptocurrency industry during a fireside chat with David Bailey at the Bitcoin Asia conference on Friday. Now, there is no question that you have made an unbelievable mark on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Eric Trump said to the Hong Kong audience, responding to Bailey's suggestion that China is the other Bitcoin superpower alongside the U.S. Now, there's no question that China is a hell of a power when it comes to the world and doing it well. Now, the younger Trump gave the same credit to the Middle East, highlighting the massive way the region has embraced cryptocurrency and the pace of development in the sector. He also praised the passion for the industry in a couple of small, unnamed countries in South America, but said that the United States right now is winning the digital revolution. And we pretty much are. We have a lot of rules like being changed and just innovation is coming. Now, his comments come despite mainland China banning institutional crypto trading and exchanges in 2017 and declaring that all crypto-related transactions illegal in September 2021, targeting the platform intermediaries rather than individuals. However, crypto ownership still remains legal there, and peer-to-peer activity continues in a legal gray zone, often tolerated in practice. Now, China also banned Bitcoin mining in June 2021, but operations still persisted in some regions due to the local protections and enforcement gaps. Meanwhile, Hong Kong is embracing crypto under a regulated pilot regime right now, and Chinese officials are increasingly exploring stablecoin and tokenized real-world assets. Now, Hong Kong has been positioned by Beijing to be the place where they can experiment with their Bitcoin policy and their digital asset policy, Bailey said, and so they've identified this as the meeting point for the world to discuss this topic as it relates to China. Now, President Trump's crypto embrace. The U.S., in contrast, has embraced the crypto industry under President Trump, recently passing stablecoin legislation, establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and aiming to make the country the crypto capital of the world and Bitcoin mining powerhouse. Now, the Trump family itself has become increasingly involved in the industry, directly much to the criticism of their political detractors amid conflict of interest claims. Now, Eric Trump was in Hong Kong to promote his American Bitcoin venture with Hut 8, while also highlighting his work with the DeFi project World, Liberty Financial, and his advisory role at the Japanese Bitcoin treasury firm Metaplanet. Now, the younger Trump also reflected on his journey into the crypto space following the widespread debanking of the Trump family business during the Biden administration. He goes, "People always ask me if the banks hadn't gone after your family, if they hadn't shut down all your accounts, do you think you'd be doing this?" And Eric Trump recalled that, "I said, I don't think I would be here. I don't think I would have fallen into cryptocurrency the same way. I started meeting some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life who believe in the future, believe in technology, and who are great people who just want to build dynamic companies that could transform the future. And he continued that they often say that the enemy of your enemy is actually your friend, and that is how the Trump family became friends with this community. Now, like, just right there, guys, like don't wait for you to be debanked, government institutions to go after you. Like, take advantage of this tool that we have for us right now, which is Bitcoin. Like, if you get debanked, like, and your money's there, it's kind of like you're stuck. It's held. Like, they're in full control of it. So use this tool we have, which is Bitcoin, and there's no middleman, no one controls it. As long as it's in your wallet, if you wanted to send $1 million to another country, your friend, there's nobody stopping you or questioning that transaction. So don't wait for this to happen. Like, just start holding on to Bitcoin right now, acquiring it, and just give yourselves a little bit more freedom as we embrace this new future. Now, he also talked about the $1 million Bitcoin price. So I believe that we're going to get there. But Eric Trump said he now spends 90% of his time in the crypto community, and reiterating his prediction that Bitcoin will hit a price tag of $1 million. I really believe in the next several years, Bitcoin hits $1 million, he said. And by right now, or he says, by right now, close your eyes and just hold it for the long term. Do not get rid of it. It was the greatest asset in the world. Everybody is buying Bitcoin. We haven't even scratched the surface of what Bitcoin is going to be, as we heard him say. And Bitcoin is currently trading for $110,000 right now, according to Block's Bitcoin price, which is down 2.6%, but I think we're down a little bit further. We're just at 108 as we saw. And but it has reached an all-time high of 124,500. So we will see that price again soon. Meanwhile, President Trump is still pushing for a summit with Xi Jinping at the U.S. and China looks to ease trade tensions after Trump's global tariff announcement in April. Now, I would certainly love for them to talk about Bitcoin, Eric Trump said on Friday, but added that they've probably got larger things to talk about. So when Trump does meet Xi Jinping, like, they might not discuss crypto because, again, there are bigger issues to be solved right now. But maybe in another future meeting, they will be discussing it. But that is what Eric Trump discussed when he was at the Bitcoin conference out there. Now let's talk about the third big wig, CZ, the old former CEO of Binance. But he talked about Bitcoin will become the global reserve currency. Let's hear what he has to say.
Global reserve currency. So so I think we've seen this evolution, and it's great to see that now both traditional financial industries and nations and countries adopting Bitcoin, plus other cryptocurrencies. So I think we've come really a long way. But in the future, I do believe that Bitcoin will become the global reserve currency.
Yeah, we have definitely come a long way from like 4 years ago, 10 years ago, and just the very beginning of Bitcoin's journey in general. Like, every single year now is always like, it's already been feeling like light years in just the adoption of the space, like, going through, but it feels like we're going even faster now than that. So it's like we've come a long way since this, as he said. But he just didn't speak, though, at the Bitcoin conference this week. He also spoke at, where did he speak at? He spoke at the Morning Post in South China, and he's urging Hong Kong to act fast as to compete with a global crypto hub, because, again, like, everybody's on board right now. The US is already putting in regulations, we're voting on bills, we're making changes. So, like, Hong Kong and China, they are like tied with us with Bitcoin holdings as the US, and so it's like they need to jump on fast now so they don't fall behind. And that's what CZ is trying to urge Hong Kong. So let's hear what he has to say. So Changpeng Zhao, also known as CZ, the co-founder and largest shareholder of the cryptocurrency exchange Binance, believes that Hong Kong has the potential to become a hub for digital assets if it moves quickly. In a recent interview with the South China Morning Post, CZ emphasized that the region has all the potential to rival the US and the UAE in the crypto space, but warned that regulatory inertia could hold it back, kind of like what we saw like in our last 4 years in the last administration. Not to say who it was, we all know what it was, but it's like we were just stifled, like we couldn't progress forward. So if they keep holding back, they could see the same thing, just like nothing's going to be done, nothing's going to be changed, and they'll fall behind. So they need to make some changes. Now, we shouldn't evaluate a place's future potential based on its current status, CZ said. We should assess it based on the speed of change. Now, Zhao urged Hong Kong authorities to open up faster, especially by allowing more cryptocurrencies to be traded on licensed exchanges. Currently, right now, only 4 are on there. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, and Chainlink. They are approved, and he argued that this limited selection was not enough, suggesting that Hong Kong adopt a model like Japan's, where exchanges have more freedom in deciding which tokens they want to list. Now, there's nothing magical about what the US and the UAE or other countries are doing right now, he added. Maybe tomorrow there could be a meeting in Hong Kong where officials say, look, we're going to change some things out there. And so, again, we don't know what the future is going to hold, but we can always, like, wherever we're living, we can always address to our government, and whoever's running the place can, like, to say, hey, maybe look into this. We want changes. We support crypto. But CZ, who also regularly advises regulators around the world, described Hong Kong's current crypto framework as overly cautious. He shared that while he does understand the stance, he believes it could slow progress when going from no regulations to regulations. Most regulators would tend to err on the cautious side, and this caution is evident in Hong Kong's new stablecoin rules, which came into effect on August 1st. The regulations impose strict controls around reserves, anti-money laundering, and user verification, causing some industry hesitations. Now, CZ's post on Binance's journey from prison to blockchain mentorship. CZ resigned as Binance CEO back in 2023 after pleading guilty to the U.S. money laundering charges. He was in prison for only 4 months and then was released in September 2024. Now, despite the past legal troubles, he remains active in the space, focusing on mentorship and supporting the BNB chain. Now, an escrow system now powering over 4,000 blockchain projects. Now, though CZ holds a significant share of BNB tokens, he said that he doesn't own equity in most BNB chain projects. He sees blockchain as still in its early days, comparing its development to the internet into the 2000s. He believes wider adoption will come as AI-driven tools become a commonplace in daily life, which kind of is happening. I was watching a funny Twitter video or YouTube video last night, just as I'm doom scrolling the videos, and it was talking about it was like a Pokemon theme one, like a dad and his son. And he's like going, hey dad, what's the first Pokemon? And the dad's going, just Google it, see if you know what it is. And then he was going, wait a minute, yeah, do you even Google anymore? ChatGPT that answer. So the next generation is already using AI. Is this now my generation and the previous generations need to just pick it up a little bit more because it is a good tool. But wider adoption is going to Man, I'm just so off today. But crypto and Bitcoin adoption is going to spread faster because of AI. But meanwhile, despite being enthusiastic about crypto's future, in the same interview, CZ offered a cautionary note on applying old world terms to new technologies. Now, if we use an old term like banking to describe a new industry, we need to be careful about it. So that's what he spoke about on the Morning Post in China and what he spoke about at the Bitcoin conference in Asia. Now, what else is going on in the China region? China, Asia? Let's go for China, because it looks like our next article is going to be covering the PetroChina is eyeing Hong Kong stablecoin license report. And I think CZ did mention that they are working on the regulations for stablecoins. So let's hear what this article has to say about that. So the PetroChina disclosed that it is monitoring the developments of Hong Kong's stablecoin issuer license and plans to initiate feasibility studies on stablecoin payments. Now, according to a local media report, PetroChina is currently monitoring the recent developments regarding stablecoin issuer licenses from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Now, PetroChina's board of directors disclosed the information during its mid-year result conference. And at the moment, the China National Petroleum Corporation subsidiary company, CFO, and secretary to the board of directors, said that the firm plans to conduct feasibility studies on cross-border settlements and payment facilitated through stablecoins. Now, this statement means that China's state-owned energy company is interested in joining the stablecoin race through Hong Kong's licensed venture and Hong Kong's stablecoin ordinance, a framework for regulating stablecoins and its issuers, came into effect on August 1st. Now, since then, companies like JD Coin, Ant Group, Standard Chartered, and Telecom have been declaring their interest in registering for stablecoin issuer, with plans to issue yuan-backed stablecoins. Now, so far, the HKMA has confirmed that no license had been issued yet at all to anybody. Now, with the rise in industry players' demand for stablecoin issuers and licenses, the HKMA has established a 6-month transition period and urged interested institutions to submit their applications by September 30th, and traders predict the first batch of licenses to be officially issued before the end of 2025. Now, PetroChina mules the stablecoins amidst China's own dilemma. The CNPC is one of the first state actors in China that is currently looking to issue a yuan-backed stablecoin, and the PetroChina is expected to explore the use of stablecoins for cross-border settlements and to aid the international trade. Now, in the wake of the Global Stablecoin Wave initiative by the U.S. Genius Act and the Stablecoin Ordinance, China has been encouraging its state-owned industries to delve deeper into stablecoins and the potential benefits out there. For instance, a pilot project conducted by the Shenzhen Metro Line 8 and Shangdai Technologies on-chain exchange system, it proved that stablecoins significantly reduced exchange rate losses in cross-border transactions compared to just the traditional transfers via SWIFT. Like, it is cheaper and it's borderless, so yeah. Therefore, the stablecoins could prove to be increasingly beneficial for companies like China's National Petroleum Corporation, which has an annual trade volume averaging nearly 300 million tons of hydrocarbon in over 50 countries. However, China has been on the fence about developing stablecoins. Earlier in August, regulators began testing renminbi-backed stablecoins in an effort to combat the US dollar. Only a day later, the Chinese government urged state-owned firms to stop discussing the subject and halt all research due to the fears of that the stablecoins could be exploited for fraudulent acts. Now, although most recently the nation has been showing a warmer stance as it seeks offset the US dollar's dominance in the global markets, officials are reportedly seeking input from experts on how to issue and implement stablecoins pegged to the renminbi. Japan and South Korea have also made similar moves to advance their own stablecoins pegged to their local currency right now. So again, we not just China looking into it right now or whatever they're doing with it, but like we got North Korea, South Korea. Wait, did I say North Korea and South Korea right there? Hold on. What did I say? No, I said Japan and South Korea. So yeah, Japan and South Korea have both been working on it. I feel like the UAE has also been working on it. It's been a while since I've heard news coming from the UAE. They were big time players over the bear times. Like, they were doing a lot of stuff. So I wonder why they're not so much in the news right now. Like, there's always some articles out there, but no, they were a big player with the stable coins as well. I think they wanted a stable dirham for their currency. I think that was. So yeah, everyone's working on their own currency because, again, why would they want to use the US dollar? It's a reserve currency right now. I'm sure they would want to have their own coin because they may feel that Bitcoin is going to be the new reserve currency. So they kind of got to get going with their own currency as well. But that's basically all of our China news I have for you, or whatever's coming from Hong Kong, because we had the Bitcoin Asia conference going on. We heard from Adam Back, Eric Trump, CZ, and now the PetroChina eyeing its stablecoin license. Now, speaking on the topic of stablecoins, let's talk about how Tether plans to move $167 billion of USDT on the Bitcoin network. That's right. So Tether's 167 billion USDT is ready to launch natively on Bitcoin in a game-changing debut via RGB. Now, RGB transforms Bitcoin beyond a value store, facilitating stablecoin support and programmable contracts with consensus changes. So how is it going to play? It might not be on-chain. I think this is going to be like off-chain and utilize the Lightning Network. But let's find out in this article. So Tether confirmed on August 28th that its flagship USDT stablecoin will be issued directly on Bitcoin via the RGB protocol. Now, this marks the first time a major stablecoin is being deployed natively on the Bitcoin network rather than through sidechains or wrapped assets. So speaking on this move, Tether CEO Paulo Arduino said that Bitcoin deserves a stablecoin that feels truly native, lightweight, private, and scalable. Now, with RGB, USDT gains a powerful new pathway on Bitcoin, reinforcing our belief in Bitcoin as the foundation of a freer financial future. Now, what is RGB? Well, RGB is an asset issuance protocol designed to work across Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. So it's going to be both. Nice. So instead of recording the token data on chain, it anchors proofs to the Bitcoin transactions while keeping the details on the user's device. Now, this model reduces blockchain congestion, it enhances privacy, and enables near instant Lightning payments. The RGB Association stated that its features highlight a shift in Bitcoin's role beyond just a store of value. With RGB, the network can now support stablecoins, tokenized assets, and programmable contracts without altering consensus rules at all. Now, the protocol will hit mainnet and readiness earlier this year with version 0.11.1, allowing developers to build and manage tokenized assets without requiring changes to the Bitcoin basis layer. Now, why does this matter? By anchoring its stablecoin to Bitcoin, Tether is effectively testing whether the world's most secure network and blockchain can serve as a base layer for everyday digital payments. So considering this, stablecoin integration means that Bitcoin users will be able to keep USDT and Bitcoin in the same wallet, send private transactions at obscure balances, and use Lightning channels for instant settlements. So I'm curious on how that's still going to work out. It's like, is it going to be like how Ethereum and ERC20 tokens out there work? As long as you have your Ethereum address, it works. So would that be like this? If you have your Bitcoin address, you can send USDT over there. You just got to choose the chain or the version of it, which would be RGB. And then we see it there. I don't know. So I guess we just got to wait to find out on that. But so this means if a wallet and merchant's adoption follow the stablecoins on Bitcoin could evolve from an experiment into a core part of its financial infrastructure. And for Tether, whose token commands more than $170 billion in market value and dominates small retail wallets, this could significantly broaden its asset adoption within Bitcoin's ecosystem. Notably, earlier demonstrations have included a live bridge moving USDT from Ethereum to RGB, signaling a cross-chain potential. So, I kind of want to look more into this RGB and see how that really actually works. Is it a company? Does it have a token? Is it just a contract? I don't know. So I'm definitely going to dive deeper into this. But let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll dive into some altcoin news and also figure out what the difference between swapping, bridges, and which is better for you. So we will be right back after these messages.
Attention visionaries and pioneers, the future of wealth is here, and it's spelled Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around $94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow.
And we are back in my nice sip of soda water, nice and refreshing. So take a sip of your coffee and let's get back to the news. So it looks like just in, the U.S. Department of Commerce chose Kraken to help launch a new initiative that records GDP data on 9 public blockchains to boost transparency. So we got word the other day that their GDP data is going to be on-chain, and they were using Chainlink and Pyth network, these 2 Oracle blockchains, to record their data. But it looks like they want to put them on more than just those 2. It mentioned Bitcoin, it mentioned Ethereum, it mentioned Solana, and a few others out there. So that's definitely bullish and positive news for more crypto space out there. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. But now let's learn about swaps versus bridges versus conversions. What's changed in 2025? Well, first off, I thought swaps and conversion are basically the same thing. You're just trading your token over, versus bridging, which is a little bit riskier. But let's learn what the differences are between these. So learn how to swap crypto and bridge crypto better in 2025 with Symbiosis, Uniswap's V-Force efficient hooks, and grief-free atomic swaps. Oh, so Uniswap had an upgrade. Oh, that's cool. So what are crypto swaps and crypto bridges? and conversion tools. Well, we are well past the halfway mark of 2025, and crypto swaps are everywhere. But is this just hype, or does the data back it up? And what exactly is a crypto swap, and how does it differ from bridging or exchanging? Well, in quarter two of 2025, decentralized exchanges, or DEXs out there, saw a huge jump of 25.3% in spot trading volume, hitting over $876 billion. Now, around the same time, centralized exchanges, or CEXs, has dropped almost 28%, ending the quarter at 3.9 trillion. Now, a clear trend can be uncovered here. More people are choosing direct crypto swaps over the traditional sell to fiat than buy it again method, which you should never really do. Sell your crypto. It's like, I got Bitcoin, let me sell it. I got cash. I'm going to be on an exchange. I want to buy XRP. It's like, why are you doing that? That's triggering taxable events right there. But a crypto swap is a direct wallet-to-wallet exchange of one digital asset for another. So no fiat currency, no order books, and no third-party custody. Instead of selling your Bitcoin for dollars and then buying Ether, you swap Bitcoin for Ethereum in a single step. So when people talk about converting crypto, they often mean just selling into fiat or using a platform internal conversion tool, which may add hidden fees, delays, or intermediaries. Now, swapping bypasses these issues, especially when paired with cross-chain swap or bridge crypto solutions for moving assets between different blockchains. Now, here's a diagram of the swapping process. So you have Solana, but you want the DOT token. So you send this SOL to the exchange address, and then the SOL then gets it swapped in the possession on the exchange's possession. So it takes that one SOL you just sent it does a conversion, sends it back to the exchange's Bitcoin address, and then sends you the DOT. Wait, is that how that works? Wait, no, swapping process. One SOL exchange with an Ethereum address doesn't make sense. And then the one SOL exchange swaps 20 DOT, exchanges to a Bitcoin address, and then okay, I think this diagram was a little incorrect right here for X. It exchanges it with a SOL address is what it should say. The exchange does a swap on its own internally, and then it goes to a Polkadot address, not a Bitcoin one. So Cointelegraph, you got to fix this diagram. But what are the benefits of swapping versus traditional trading? So here's what many users prefer: a decentralized swap over trading through an exchange. You got lower fees. Swaps often avoid high trading fees and markups. You will usually only pay the small network or smart contract gas costs. That's it. Better liquidity access. It avoids thin order books and price slippage. Automated market makers based on swaps tap into liquidity pools, making transactions smoother. It's got non-custodial control, so you keep your own private keys. No know your customer process at all, so no giving up your license, your social at all. It is no KYC. So there's no trusting a centralized exchange to hold your funds. And then also it gives faster transactions with most on-chain swaps. And the process is almost instant. You don't have to deal with a multi-step conversion or wait for the fiat settlements to happen. Now, what are the risks of swapping cryptocurrencies? Well, while swapping is quick and cost-effective, there are still risks to be aware of. We have smart contract vulnerabilities. If the DEX or bridge usually faulty code, funds could be at risk. Slippage on large trades. Bigger swaps can still move the market, especially on low liquidity pairs. And then limited advanced features. Swaps aren't built for complex trading strategies, so don't be expecting to go out there and use a DEX or a decentralized exchange to have like a spot order, put your buy and loss orders on there, and just no, you can't do that with DEX. All it is going to be used for is, I got this coin, I want this one, and you're making that trade right then and there. And so it's got the limited features beyond that. But that is why the best cross-chain bridge of 2025 and swap platforms focus on security audits out there, deep liquidity pools, and protective measures like front-running prevention. And ultimately, for most users, the combination of speed, low cost, and keeping custody makes swapping crypto, especially across chains, more appealing than just trading. Now, how are crypto swaps changing in 2025? Swaps have come a long way. The best platforms now can scan across chains, bridges, and rollups to give you better rates with less risk. Symbiosis.finance, for example, taps into liquidity from layer 1s, layer 2, bridges, and both Ethereum virtual machines and non-EVM networks to tie in rates and cut risks. Now, this means users can perform cross-chain swaps without ever touching a separate bridge interface. Now, one of the most notable upgrades is that Symbiosis built its own blockchain, the SIS chain, to manage and swap bridge logic internally, and this has two big benefits. It's consistent, predictable fees instead of fluctuating bridge charges, and it's also faster, more reliable of the execution for cross-chain transactions. Now, security stays decentralized. The network runs on a delegated proof-of-stake model where token holders can act as a validator or delegate to others. Now, this spreads out responsibly and reduces the risk of centralized control and aligns with incentives for honesty. Now, here's that Symbiosis app. This is what their DEX looks like, and most other apps look exactly the same way. If you use Uniswap, PancakeSwap, even like the website SimpleSwap, I usually like using that one. But it just says like the top one is like the coin you want to get, and the bottom one's the one you want to receive. Oh no, the top coin is the coin you have, the bottom one is the one you want to receive out there. But this architecture eliminates the need for traditional pooled asset bridges, a type of decentralized bridge that has become a common target for exploits in the recent years. Now, also by integrating chain bridging protocols directly into its own blockchain, Symbiosis removes several points of failure while keeping the user experience fast and straightforward. In short term, the best cross-chain bridges of 2025 have become about making swaps as easy as a single click, while quietly solving the complexity of cross-chain interoperability and security challenges in the background. Now, here's another chart of swap first bridges for spot exchanges. Hopefully this one's accurate. So you got the crypto swaps trading bridge versus spot exchanges out there. So let's see, you got low, usually the fees are just gas and then slippage, and then you got trading fees plus withdrawal. So central exchanges usually have more fees. Also depends on KYC, so it's centralized, there's risk there, and depends on open book orders, while the other two are usually faster, but bridging is usually slower compared to just crypto swaps, and they run on smart contracts, while traditional bridges are run on smart contract legacy, but is also kind of centralized as well. And then the KYC, you don't need it for swaps. Usually not for the bridging out there, but again, if you're using a centralized system, you may need it. And then the slippage fee is usually low on swapping fees. On bridges, can be high if there's low liquidity. And then again, with spot exchanges, this depends on the order books. Now, other modern options for cross-chain swaps, while platforms like Symbiosis have set a high standard for swapping and bridging crypto in 2025, different providers take very different technical paths to achieve the same goal, letting users move assets between blockchains quickly, securely, and cost-effectively. Now, Uniswap's V4 single chain AMM with extreme efficiency. So Uniswap's V4 focuses on in-chain swaps rather than cross-chain. Interoperability and its architecture is built to deliver deep liquidity and ultra-low gas fees within Ethereum and supported layer 2s, but it doesn't natively bridge crypto assets between chains. Now, its headline upgrade, the Hooks framework, allows developers to insert custom logic at specific points in the swap's lifecycle. Things like adjusting fees in real time, adding new order types, or integrating on-chain oracles for accurate pricing and slippage. Now, under the hood, Uniswap 4 uses a singleton contract architecture and flashing account, cutting gas use by up to 99% compared to earlier versions. This makes it ideal for users who prioritize low fee swaps and custom trading logic within a single ecosystem. Now, what is a force swap peer-to-peer atomic swap protocol? Force swap takes a completely different route. Instead of an automated market maker, liquidity pool, or rollup, it uses hash time lock contracts to enable direct on-chain swaps between two parties across different blockchains. No pooled liquidity, no bridging contracts. Its grief-free mechanism fixes a long-standing issue in the older atomic swap design, and where one party could stall the process to waste the other's time or gas. Now here, the transaction flow is structured so that stalling offers no advantage at all. Now, force swap's main appeal is to maximize trustlessness and privacy, but it comes without trade-offs. Swaps depend on finding matching counterparties, and prices are negotiated rather than set by an AMM. Now, force swap is better suited to niche markets and technically advanced users who are comfortable with slower executions. Now, the three of the best crypto swap solutions are Symbiosis, Uniswap, or force swap. Now, the examples show just how varied the technology behind cross-chain swaps can be, ranging from high-speed AMM, aggregate manual, and atomic swaps beyond. So those are the differences out there. Very technical, kind of went a little bit longer than I was hoping to for this article. I probably should have left this one out, but what is actually force swaps. I want to take a look at that. Let's see. Force swap. Let me copy that and let me put that in our browser. Let's take a look. What even is this? Is this a, let's see, force swap, classified ads, force swap trade volume market listings, offer swap. Yeah, so what even is that? Who knows? But again, like when I like to do trading, like usually I will take on like simple swap. Very simple to use. It's just a website. You don't even need an account to use it. It's like, hey, I got 0.1 Bitcoin. I want Ethereum. It shows me what I'll be getting for that 0.1 Bitcoin. I'll click exchange, and then it'll tell me to provide an address, so the Ethereum wallet, because I want to receive Ethereum. So once I would paste that in there and click create exchange, it'll provide me with a QR code to send my Bitcoin to, and then they'll do the conversion and then send me the Ethereum. So this is like a nice little anonymous way to swap your currencies out there, since we were just talking about it. But now, since we talked about swapping currencies out there, let's actually talk about some altcoins out there. What's going on in the space? Oh, it looks like we got some more Litecoin news. Yes, the Litecoin adoption. And this has come from Canada. So a Canadian firm, Luxfolio, plans a $73 million raise to expand Litecoin treasury strategy. Okay, so instead of a Bitcoin strategy, they want to go with Litecoin, which I love. Now, the struggling Canadian firm aims to scale through a Litecoin-focused reserve and infrastructure model aimed at a pivot to the 27th largest coin. Now, the Canadian crypto infrastructure firm Luxfolio filed a shelf prospectus on Thursday to raise up to Canadian dollars of 100 million. Now, months after becoming the first publicly listed company to anchor its treasury into Litecoin, following a broader pivot away from the Bitcoin mining, Luxfolio views Litecoin as a hard currency. CEO and director Tomac Antoine said in a statement, "In our sector, scale is critical. Now, the larger our treasury infrastructure is and ecosystem footprint, the greater our ability is to capture the market share and influence adoption." Now, Antoniuk said, adding that the shelf would give Luxfolio flexibility to scale and meet market demands. Now, once approved, Luxfolio's shelf prospectus will enable it to raise funds over 25 months through the issuance of shares, debt, or other securities. Now, the latest filings follows Luxfolio's move in July to begin disclosing its Litecoin purchases, with a strategic advisor confirming earlier this month that the company is targeting a total of 1 million LTC by 2026. Now, Litecoin creator Charlie Lee, meanwhile, has also joined its advisory board in late June. Now, Luxfolio, like others jumping on the crypto treasury trend, is positioning its strategy around reserves and infrastructure, despite its financial being in the poor shape and marked by mounting losses and limited liquidity for its stock. Now, key signs of strain include no revenue, a net loss of approximately $197,000 for the second quarter, compared with a net loss of $8,000 in the same period a year earlier, and a 9-month loss that more than doubled year over year, according to its latest quarterly financials. Now, the company closed its quarter two this year with just $112,000 in cash and relied on $844,000 private placement to stay afloat. Now, with nearly $19 million in total losses since its inception in 2017, its management had warned of a significant doubt about its ability to continue operating without fresh capital. Now, Decrypt reached out to Luxfolio for comment, but did they see anything? I don't think so. So don't just sit on it. Observe, argue that Litecoin-focused digital asset treasury can draw institutional attention if it goes beyond its passive accumulations. Now, such a model could absolutely attract institutional capital if it's paired with usable infrastructure. Now, Michał Pospeszky, CEO of wallet infrastructure platform American Fortress, told Decrypt that, citing how inflows on the Litecoin ecosystem top over $100 million, Pospeszky said that the institutions don't just deploy that kind of capital into Ghost Chain. Instead, they're looking to scalable rails, compliance pathways, and user adoption. Now, risks remain, however, if the DATs just sit on assets and hope for the number to go up, Popley has said. They risk repeating a 2008-style leverage cycle, but the difference could come when treasuries actually grow the ecosystem by building tools that bring in users, he said. So Luxfolio and others appear to be taking the path to eliminate the bubble risk by replacing speculation with utility, he added. And institutional capital has a tendency to gravitate toward assets with the following characteristics: deepest liquidity, strongest adoption with the most established market narrative. And Sean Young, chief analyst at MEXC Research, told Decrypt that, adding that those qualities are areas that Bitcoin clearly dominates. Now, Litecoin, while having a technical merit and a long-standing credibility, has less development and institutional use cases, Young said. and Litecoin could carve out a niche if paired with real utility, but it is unlikely to command the same level of institutional inflows as Bitcoin-based strategies has said. Now, I feel like Litecoin though is going to have its moment to shine eventually. Bitcoin is going to outshine it in like definitely this cycle, but I feel like once it gets really, really hard to acquire Bitcoin, people will start eyeing Litecoin because it's like the Bitcoin little brother out there and can like basically do all the stuff Bitcoin does. And actually, it's kind of like the test net for Bitcoin. Like you want something to be done over there, you try it out on Litecoin's blockchain first. So it's like Litecoin will have its time to shine. Like, how far can it go this cycle? I'm not sure, but hopefully this company, again, like the article said, isn't just hoping they're going to sit on the coin and price go up. They actually need to bring in some more utility with it. So, yeah, but let's continue on. So the rise of the altcoin treasuries can be a decisive spark to ignite the final phase of the current market cycle, said Ray Youssef, the CEO of No Ones. And portfolio strategy pivots from companies like BitMine, SharpLink, Pantera, and others, and they are starting to treat blue chip altcoins as treasury-grade reserve assets, Youssef said. Now, the vote of confidence, he argued, is reshaping how altcoins are perceived, signaling that institutional capital is no longer just reserved exclusively for just Bitcoin. So, it is not. But that is great news, though, for Litecoin. I like seeing that a treasury company is going to be holding Litecoin as their treasury reserve, and they're planning on raising $73 million for it. So let's go Litecoin. We'll have our time to shine. Now, what else do we have in the news for you? It looks like Avalanche leads blockchain transaction growth amid the U.S. government implementations out there. So Avalanche transactions growth topped all blockchain networks with a 66% as the smart contract network saw more government implementations and renewed ETF applications out there. So let's go through this article from Cointelegraph. So Avalanche transaction growth surpassed all other blockchain networks this week, signaling more investor mindshare rotating the smart contract blockchain utility token, as it also saw increasing governmental adoption. Now, Avalanche is a smart contract blockchain designed to improve scalability and usability, and it has emerged as one of the fastest growing blockchain networks. Now, transactions on Avalanche rose over 66% during the past week, surpassing 11.9 million transactions across over 181,300 active addresses. Now, they wrote crypto intelligence platform Nansen in a Friday X post. Now, this increase of transactions may signal more incoming investor interest in the Avalanche token. Now, catalyzed by the Avalanche's latest governmental implementation and renewed exchange-traded fund following around the altcoin. On Thursday, the U.S. Department of Commerce announced that it will begin posting real gross domestic product data on decentralized blockchains, including Avalanche. Starting with data from July's 2025, and the GDP reports will be published on the 9 public blockchains networks, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, Tron, Stellar, Arbitron One, Polygon Proof of Stake, and Optimism. So those are all the 9 different chains they want to go on chain, as we saw in this quick little post we saw of the Justin. They want 9 different chains. So I'm glad actually this article covered that. So sweet. Now, this is the first time federal agency has published economic statistic data like this on the blockchain, and the latest way the department is utilizing innovation technology to protect federal data and promote public use. Now, the Department of Commerce called its landmark effort that may demonstrate the wide utility of blockchain technology and serve as a proof of concept for all governments to build on the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration vision of making the U.S. the blockchain capital of the world. Now we see, what else do we see? Oh, yeah, more exchanges are popping up with ETFs out there. And this one came from Grayscale's Avalanche Trust right there. So the rising activity may be more related to the organic growth in Avalanche Layer 1 blockchain and others rising decentralized finance activities, according to Luigi D'Arnario de Mayo. Now, he is the chief strategy officer at Ava Labs, the company behind the development of Avalanche. Now, it's related to the growth of additional Avalanche's Layer 1 growing, plus new growth in terms of transactions on the Avalanche C chain related to payments, growth, stablecoins, and DeFi, DeMio told Cointelegraph. Now, other potential developments catalyzing investors' interest include crypto investment firm Grayscale updated S1 filing for the spot Avalanche exchange-traded fund, which wasn't submitted to the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission on Friday. Cointelegraph reported that transactions on a second-place Starknet increased by 37%, while Fiction Network only emerged in third with an expansion over 35%. Now, the base network was a 6th in terms of growth, but ranked first in terms of transaction count with over 64 million transactions over the past week, Nason's data showed. Now, I need a sip of soda. Gotta clear that throat. But blockchain could make America's economic data immutable. So no more being able to change any data. It's just once it's laid out, it's there. So publishing economic data on the blockchain will make these reports immutable, wrote U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, adding that we are making America's economic truth immutable and globally accessible like never before, cementing our roles as the blockchain capital of the world. And everyone has to admit that 3.3% GDP growth is impressive. And it's only fitting that the Commerce Department and President Donald Trump, the crypto president, publicly released economic statistic data on the blockchain and added that Lutnick after the historic announcement. Now here is, what is this chart showcasing? The technical details tomorrow published of Hash Bureau. I see some Bitcoin addresses out here with transaction hashes. So you can just see these on chain for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. Okay, so these are the address and transactions where they're going to be storing all the data on. So pretty cool. So it's public information right there for you to look at. So nice. But yeah, so Avalanche is growing and is one of those tokens, again, that was listed as the 9 blockchains that can start supporting GDP data on there. And isn't Avalanche already the company that is utilizing California DMV car titles? Is that too? Hold on, let me look that up before I move on to our next altcoin news. Avalanche, California DMV. Let me take a look at that. Was that one? Nope. Avalanche, mistyping. Let's see, Avalanche, California DMV makes history. Yep, so it was an AVAX network. Yeah, California DMV makes history, digitized 42 million cars. So, yeah, so it just makes sense. Like, it already has some history behind putting some details on chain, and now it looks like we're gonna get some GDP data on there. Now let's continue on. I have too many news articles. Why? Man, it is too many news articles. Had a slip up this morning with the show, started 10 minutes late, but hey, there's lots going on in the space, and usually I just cover 6 of these articles, but there is so much going on, and yeah, you just cannot keep up with it all. But something to pay attention to for an upcoming Ripple XRP release date. So it looks like Ripple's upcoming $2.8 billion XRP release has been scheduled. So this may cause a price dip in the XRP token. So for those of you holding XRP, you may want to pay attention to this, because if you're wondering why price is dipping, this may be because of it. So, and this is when it happens, because they haven't released those tokens yet. But Ripple is set to release up to 1 billion XRP tokens, valued at $2.87 billion from escrow on September 1st, potentially impacting the cryptocurrency market. So this is going to take place on Monday. Now, this release could influence XRP's market dynamics, affecting supply and potential price shifts, with the past instances showing similar patterns. Now, Ripple is preparing to release up to 1 billion XRP tokens from its escrow on September 1st. Now, the significant escrow activity could influence market dynamics through historical trends, and suggesting that a majority of XRP may be re-escrowed. So that's what they usually do. Now, a little bit more info on Ripple's unlocking these tokens. Ripple's scheduled release of the XRP tokens from escrow is historically accompanied with re-escrow significant portions of its monthly release, limiting the immediate market impact. So the upcoming release amounts to a nominal value of $2.8 billion at the current price, and Ripple Labs and its key figures, include Chris Larson, are central to these ongoing escrow releases. Now, I think these are charts showing what usually happens when this takes place. So usually when they release escrow, price goes down. And was this another one or the same chart? But since July 17, 2025, an address linked to Ripple co-founder Chris Larson transferred out 50 million XRP to 4 addresses. And those were the addresses showcased. So these were the unscheduled releases that they did, and kind of showed that the market did go down with it. So depending on what they do with these XRP tokens when it does get released, again, they put a big portion back into escrow to not affect the market. But again, everything's been kind of unscheduled, not sure what's going on, not so transparent. So we'll see what takes place. The short-term market volatility is anticipated with this XRP release. The anticipated release could contribute to short-term market volatility, and historical trends suggest that Ripple routinely re-escrows much of the released XRP, aligned with past market stability efforts. Now, market participants and liquidity providers remain watchful of the potential price shifts in any major sell-off as seen with Larson's previous sells, and this could affect XRP's short-term price trajectory. So might not be a long-term one, but just very short, fast, week, month. A month is short, right? But analysts and Ripple strategy to manage its XRP token. Ripple's escrow arrangement have long been a strategy to manage XRP supply since 2017. Now, such releases paired with re-escrow mechanisms aim to control inflationary impacts on the market. Now, given past occurrences, experts suggest that while immediate price dips may occur, broader market volatility may be tempered through strategic re-escrows and institutional interest in XRP. Now, Chris Larson, co-founder of Ripple Labs, cashed out near XRP's local high, about $3.60, which then quickly dropped back down below $3.10 after the transaction. So, again, keep this in mind. These guys can control that price pretty heavily in the short term. So, I know. I don't have any financial advice on there for anybody holding XRP. You do you. If you want to move your coins over to a stable coin, wait for this news to happen. We see a price dip happen and then swap it back into XRP. You can totally do that if you want. But again, we don't know what will actually happen. We don't have a crystal ball to the future. So even if this token even when this release does happen, doesn't necessarily for sure mean price go down. So just keep that in mind out there. So you guys do you. But what else do I have for you in the news? Let's see. I'm going to just keep bypassing a couple of these now because there's just been too many news articles to cover. But it looks like we have some Chainlink positivity news with real estate firm stock spike after revealing first publicly traded Chainlink treasury. So we have a Chainlink treasury with a real estate company out there. So more bullish signs for that. Pudgy Penguin's game is officially launching on the iOS and Android. So yeah, Pudgy Penguin. Looks like it's going to be a fun game. It's almost time to crash the Pudgy party. Pick your favorite costume, survive fireball, kicks and chaos, outlast. Pre-register right now for the party below. And does it say when it's going to be released? It doesn't. Let's see. I have hopes to have a minimum of tens of millions of players out there. Come on, give us a date at least. And nope, no day yet, so we'll just keep an eye on out for that for you. But Pudgy Penguins is releasing their iOS video game out there. And I was going to cover this article, but I don't think I will. But U.S. banks moved $312 billion in dirty money, but critics still blame crypto for it. So, yeah, critics are still going to just keep saying that, crypto's for the bad actors, drug dealers, or whatnot. But it's just another tool that some bad actors will utilize, but they can be used both good, bad, and that's how money should work anyways. But yeah, sorry for just speed rushing the end of this video, guys. I think I got lunch out there waiting. My stomach's growling, backs are sleeping, and this was a long video. These were a lot of news articles for you. But looking at the fear and greed index right now, we're at a 47 neutral right now. So again, fear is not really taking place. Bitcoin's currently at $108,000 right now. So guys, take advantage of the dip in this volatility. Bitcoin will be $1 million one day in the future. So again, just buy it, hold it. Don't even bother looking at the price anymore. Come back to it later and go, oh, wow. How do I use this now? So yeah, just get some Bitcoin while you still can. Ethereum is at 4,300. XRP is currently at $2.83. So will this XRP escrow release drop this down to 250, 240? We'll have to wait and find out. Solana's at 203, Dogecoin 21 cents, and Tron is at 33. But that is it, guys, for this. Sorry, still a little sick. But that is it for this crypto news show for you. I will be back on Monday with more crypto news for you. But tomorrow here at the Crypto Club, we're having a new member Bitcoin orientation. So if you want to come on by and join the club, I think we have some announcements going on there for you. But everyone have an awesome Friday, and I will see you again soon.
In a world where your data is constantly under attack, one company stands for your digital freedom. Introducing Calyx Solutions, your gateway to ultimate online privacy and secure cryptocurrency trading. Meet the Liberty Laptop. With its modified OS and advanced tracking prevention, it's your shield against surveillance. Access restricted areas, use recommended security software, and browse with confidence. Your digital footprint? Virtually non-existent. For the crypto pros, we present the Crypto Laptop. Pre-configured on premium hardware for secure trading. Optimized for your favorite wallets and exchanges. It's the fortress your digital assets deserve. Both laptops come with expert individual training and support. You're never alone in your journey to digital empowerment. At Calyx Solutions, we put you in control. No more worrying about data breaches or compromised transactions. Ready to join the revolution? Visit calyxsolutions.io and choose your perfect laptop today. Plus, become an affiliate and earn while sharing the power of digital freedom. Calyx Solutions. Unlock your digital freedom. Give us a call or text at 702-845-8276 or visit us directly at calyxsolutions.io.